also moon moon sextile Uranus and Jupiter. So keep this in mind too. These are going to be opportunities to expand on your emotional space. So this is going to be the main attributes right here. What I be talking about, that dreams come true. You know what I'm saying? Your dreams or your emotional state or what you put a lot of care in can actually come true right now. You just have to start putting in the effort and show externally all that internal care that you got for that object, project, person, place, or thing, or circumstance, or situation, or business. And all you have to do is to all the pent up energy you have. As soon as you start to express it, you're going to start to see all the opportunities, even if opportunities come that you wasn't necessarily expecting, or even opportunities you didn't necessarily know was going to come that you didn't necessarily want. You're just going to start seeing more openings and stuff like that that can lead to your dream or your possibility into that space that you want to be in anyway. And it's going to show you the route of that you need to take to get there. And the route is going to be the circumstance, the things you get connected with as far as the abilities on your mind and how you start to act on these things and how it start to produce people, places, and things in your life as interactions for it to start to reach that destination physically. You know what I'm saying? And also we got so with the moon sextile in Uranus, you just have to take your emotional state and you have to make sure it's unique and it's your individual path, not always considering someone else on your path and you letting someone else take that path by devaluing yourself. No, your path is your path. The person for you is the person for you. The job for you, the circumstance for you, the family for you, the opportunity for you is for you. And every now and then, this sometimes we pass up jobs, we pass up relationships, we pass up circumstances, we pass up opportunities, being in a position of constantly comparing and contrasting and acting out our energies by making a decision based on looking at how others treat others. And that's the wrong way of going about it. Us is here to get ours and things of that nature. And when we put ourselves in that attribute, we end up start to realize this is what everybody do in the world. So anytime we allowed somebody to take our position at the volleyball game or the basketball game, we purely allowed it. And we always have to understand that. Sometimes we get into a mind frame where, no, okay, it was just meant to be this way, especially if something didn't go in our favor to make ourselves feel right. We'd say, oh, it was just meant to go this. And no, it just meant you ain't get yours. People get up and take theirs. They take their opportunity. And that goes for all things. You know what I'm saying? Business, career, circumstances, situations. So the we sit there and give someone else power over our ability to what we do and how we would come across and what we think the reaction will be, then that's when we allow others in the world that may be weaker than you to take over. You know what I'm saying? Which you don't have to. A lot of y'all done let things this breeze by y'all by being in that type of energy. And the universe, I don't know, fuck the universe. I mean, forget the universe, but life is pushing you, and your spirit should be pushing you into knowing that, okay, yeah, it's time to fight against that. Time to fight against that and stuff like that. Because this is how you state your claim, and this how you even manifest in the first place. That fight. That fight. Because you're like, no, I'm here. No, I changed this. No, this ain't getting past me. You know what I'm saying? The universe can't stand that, but that's when you wake up. That's when you wake up. And that's when things start going right. Even when you think it's going wrong, no, it's going right. A lot of y'all was in the most worst relationships ever, but when you first got out of that relationship, you thought it was the worst time of your life ever. And nah, that ain't the fact. Really, God saved your life. It's just before you can see it. And you might try to fight it and stuff like that and be blocked from actual people, places, and things you can actually be connected to and stuff like that. You won't never see them, never connect, never be interested, never even be aware of it because you'll be lost in something. And a lot of times, God be saving y'all life. You know what I'm saying? And you'll be sitting around for months and months and months thinking that's the worst period of time in your life until God take you through a more depressing situation to show you, listen, I'm opening all kind of doors and stuff for you that you just trying to act like you're unable to see and stuff like that. And I don't know what kind of more frustrating thing I got to put you through for you to see it. But you keep not using your mind right, I'm gonna take your mind from you, and you ain't gonna have no mind and nobody to use anyway. So you don't want to go down that line of reasoning and train of thought. So you need to go ahead and get with the program. Let's go ahead and get straight with the program right now. Get with the program right now. Don't be missing no opportunities and stuff like that. And then don't be thinking rejections and stuff like that is a failure. That's not a failure. That's an artillery to adjust so you can be pointed in the right direction if you couldn't see in the first place. And here's the thing. God don't even be trying to take people through rejection and stuff. God be trying to see if you are strong enough to do it. The only time really humans and stuff experience rejection, they separate from God. They trying to do something so much in outside way in that they can manipulate themselves. They actually be the ones who manifest the rejection themselves. It don't even be having nothing to do with God. God don't even be the one stopping people being like, nah. It be themselves. The person be their worst enemy. It's all, and we all went through it on a percentage scale. But the faster you know how to wake up and realize that, the faster you get closer to God. You see what I'm saying? Like, because a lot of people be using fake Christianity and stuff and be saying, oh, it's the universe and you got to do this for the universe. All of this is Lucifer and creating God. God don't got nothing, all possibilities ain't got nothing to do with none of that. And the only reason you probably experiencing that, because you separate from God, because you distant, because you wasn't listening, because you wasn't seeing what God was putting, not the other way around. God just forced you to be through something because you the chosen one and God picked you to go through hardship. No, it's because how you think you took yourself through it and you separated from God. And the more closer you get back to God, the more you'll realize that, and you won't feel alone no more, even if you is by yourself or in a room full of a million people, but just y'all in different spaces spiritually. So you still feel alone. You won't feel alone in none of those areas and stuff like that. And you won't feel like you're victimized or generational cursed by ancestors and stuff like that, because you'll realize that that's all of those are concepts of people and spirits who separated from God, not who close to God. You know what I'm saying? If you close to God, you could be the sickest person in the world and things of that nature, and it won't be like that. It'll actually be you here to even teach people who got them illness, who got that cancer or whatever like that. So it's like God will have you here in all kind of circumstances, no matter what. You could be the person in the wheelchair, that's the depressing family member that just end up being Uncle Fester on the Addams Family and stuff like that and never come out. Or you could be the person in the wheelchair and you got the same 24 hours your whole family got and you became richer than them, faster than them, because you didn't allow the wheelchair. You made energy out the wheelchair. So you made a character out of your vulnerability. You made light of your heavy situation. God loved that type of stuff. When God see powerful spirits know how to do that, God, like, this individual is not allowing the one, two, and third dimension to affect them, to redirect their thoughts and feelings, to make their spirit feel like they have to be at peace only because of the external world and validation. That's living backwards. God, that's ugly. God, that's the devil living backwards. If you want to actually live, you got to invert it. And God look at that spirit like, okay, that spirit created their own thought and feeling in the fourth, fifth, and sixth dimension about they one, two, and third dimensional circumstance, them being in a wheelchair. So that character matters more when it bend into the one, two, and third dimension. So they put in way more positive energy than the person in the wheelchair that put in all that negative energy and things of that nature. So their actions is being directed into not being seen and caring more about validation and throwing extreme fits and trauma fits and stuff like that, because when a family is not helping the way they supposed to and stuff like that, because they get tired too of wiping somebody's ass, then at the same time the one that still go through those same frustrations but able to transmute it, they gonna put themselves in a situation they can't stop. They got to turn people away from offering wiping their ass, even from people who ain't family members. Shit, it's probably publicists, managers, all kind of shit. They got to sometimes pick and choose who they can, because they didn't manifest it so much. You see what I'm saying? So it's like you got to know what side you on, no matter your circumstance or situation. And that's how you know if you're closer to God or not. Thank you so much for the donation, Mellow the Star, man. I appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. Real stuff. And that's how you know if you're closer to God. You didn't allow your one, two, and third dimensional circumstance to change your thoughts and feelings. You changed your thoughts and feelings yourself. So you had godly constant densities. But you also was aware of your 1, 2, and third dimension. So you was able to make an alchemy out of it. You wasn't running away from it. Like it's a vulnerability and all the way to large and small percentage levels trying to hide your sweat, not allow people to see you sweat. So even when you have extreme frustrating days, you have to be frustrated with yourself on how much you're going to allow the others to see how much you're going through frustration. Like all of that is just that turn into suicidal thoughts. You see what I'm saying? Being in those type of spiritual spaces where you more mad at yourself that you have to be frustrated around others based on a circumstance. You see what I'm saying? Thank you so much for the relationship. It's so prolific. And there's a large amount of the world, and I appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. This is what 95% of the world is going through right now. And this is another reason why pages like mine is demonetized. Because they don't want people like me coming to these type of people, because they need these type of people to be in like still Christianity and stuff and aliens and stuff like that. And if I'm not saying anything that have anything to do with that, yet I'm making sense out of mental illness and stuff like that, it's like they know that that's one of the purest states of the thing they got control over, and the thing of how their community, corporation, country can continuously be ran. So they don't really care about if something works or not. They more care about the intellectual property and who believe in it. You see what I'm saying? So it's not about if their religion and their concepts work or not. It's more about us believing it. They care more about us believing it than it actually working or not. So it don't matter if you come in with new intelligence, almost down to like Dr. Sabi and stuff like that. It doesn't matter how helpful, how peaceful, how non-harmful it is to humanity. That's not the point in their eyes. In their eyes, it's going to steer people away from believing their concepts of things, which leads into a whole bunch of other areas that they need us to do, but we won't be able to do it if that first starting block is no longer a belief. So it could be the most retarded thing that they always updating as the top of the pyramid block, but sometimes they have to uphold it because the things under it is ran from it. So anytime we wake up and look at the top pyramid block like it's stupid, they have to adjust it. And how they adjust that generative principle is seeing how we're reacting and responding. And based on our level of intelligence and wisdom and comprehension skills, they're able to adjust their, which get ready to become old and outdated, watchtower, top of the pyramid block scheme. And then they're getting ready to change that so it can suit all the other blocks that was built up under it, quote unquote, their corporation, country, civilization to continue to run. So this is why a lot of times they fall short when it comes to their intellectual property that they throw out on us, like Walt Disney television shows, news narratives, like the Alien and the other thing, the submarine, and all these other circumstances and stuff like that. They're basically seeing how woke we are right now, and based upon our level of comprehension and awareness, that shows them how far to treat us when they get ready to develop their new limited hangout websites and information that they're getting ready to pour into it, that really just could redirect us into doing what they want us to do anyway. But the information that they may present to us on these limited hangout websites may be things that suit to our biases, maybe things that we could start utilizing as form of intellect to teach others and things of that nature, like we're still being rebellious. And then that's how they can put us in a small percentage scale using different words, still making us rebellious, which is why YouTube can demonetize individuals who not even trying to harm a fly, but yet demonetizes for the pure purposes of promoting the war that's actually going on, and they are actually hurting people. So it become a weird sticky game if you don't got enough wittiness or witty banner and spiritual self-evaluation, and you a teacher and you don't got the right wording to explain this. It become a tricky game because sometimes you can not be sure if you're teaching what they want you to teach or if you're actually waking people up. And that's the fight I'm here to fight. You see what I'm saying? Because it's so tricky, it's so sticky in this world right now. You know what I'm saying? Thank you so much for the donation, Wayne and Crescent. I appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. Real stuff. And like, sometimes I be wanting to cry just seeing that from a distance, because it's like you don't know where to start, but you know there's something needs to be done. And that could get real foggy right there. You know what I'm saying? It's a real foggy space because you see how far and you see how much stuff needs to be done before a goal could be reached. And that could be withdrawn. That could be too heavy for a spirit. a community of spirits, to the point that it'll make you quick, hurry in a second, get into the same energy that the government is in, and things of that nature, where they feel like, hey, only a small, to the point that if you was to reach that position with your community, you might understand a negative energy, which is negative in totality. You see what I'm saying? But based on everything you had to go through or with your community, you might feel it's justified to feel like how they feel due to the fact of how the world is. And they made it a dog eat dog world. You know what I'm saying? So don't never forget that. And it's not your fault that you in a circumstance or situation that you in. So don't be too hard on yourself either. The best thing you could do is just try to change the circumstance and then work for God. And you'll be doing things that they can't stop anyway, regardless of demonetizing, regardless of anything. You see what I'm saying? Because it goes beyond that. They got weird fart cloud golems that float around like entities that they put a lot of energy in. And all you have to do is interact with a concept of that. And you will automatically witness a blockage in your life by those spirits in that form, creating that energy blockage for whatever opportunity, and it will block you from even seeing it because it'll make you think you have to do this, that, and the third before even reaching, which you really can't see because they make you distracted into the this, that, and the third. And it's like floating around. They're not even in people yet. And if you act out the energy enough and if you fucking enough, they can become your child. But sometimes it come out the birth out of your head. It become your circumstance or situation. And you find yourself binded into the physical magic square of the responsibilities of the government and stuff like that in order to feel like you're even surviving and stuff like that. Man, this fart cloud that you breathe as soon as you go outside is deep. If you're really able to see it, especially through my lens. You know what I'm saying? And probably the closest person to probably see it through my lens is a female that I'm deeply connected to. But based on that coming together, that'll peer out into the world, and then we'll all be on one path, and then we'll actually know how to not get affected in the world while being a group, a team, while teamwork makes the dream work. And then we have our own anti-Shemetics or whatever like that, and have our own networking programs to the point that we can fire them for 2 weeks or whatever like that if they present us a commercial that they want us to broadcast on our network and that look like something that we don't like with our spiritual predecessors, something that look like it's sarcastic with our ancestors or some stuff like that. Oh no, oh, that's not getting broadcast. And since we got the majority of the world, you see what I'm saying, that's the esoteric currency. And then that manifests as we can make anything out of that energy down here, especially if we get it, direct that energy towards bargaining and gain. We could cut down our own trees and put our own faces and make that more important to the point that no one even cares about spilling their dollars or Bitcoin because we didn't put all the energy into something else to make people bargain. So it has to get that deep to a certain level. But when you look at the world from a distance at this point right now, you know all the levels and ups and downs and mental gymnastics that may have to take for that to get done. And for just even a small group of individuals, that could seem like the world is on their shoulders and things of that nature. But just sparking that awareness and letting that be out, each one teach one, and all of us being aware of this right now, that makes it possible. So it may not be today, may not be this eon, but it's a possibility that's getting ready to expand the universe because we here now connecting in that manifestation. You see what I'm saying? We're speaking out the breath, and that's a form. All kind of spirits is becoming aware inside of that, getting ready to come into existence, whether through people, other forms, as species and stuff, and the world is getting ready to be what we speak. Now look, everything's created with the word. You better believe it. Now look, check this out. But then we also got like Mercury sextile Uranus. So in Taurus. So we all gonna have this opportunity to be able to take these new thoughts that we're trying to change, new thoughts, cardinal, water, cardinal, that we actually care about. And if we utilize it in the right way, we will create opportunities to change our life in some way, shape, or form. And change Uranus. And what we're changing. Where's Uranus at? Taurus. And if you're doing it in a higher octave way, you're going to like changing those things because you're going to be changing your stability, your security, your money, your material, all that good Taurus stuff. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. This new thing that you just put together, it's going to be so sufficient. It's going to take years to even break. And make sure you're directing that towards your relationships, your business, your career. These are the things you need to be directed at towards, not no flunked out thought, feeling, or emotion, especially predicated on the past due to the fact of these retrograde energies also. You see what I'm saying? and Neptune. And once you get to 1, 2 together and stuff like that, now you're good to go. And your imagination is not going to manifest as a delusion. It's going to manifest as people looking at it like it's creative. And you're able to put yourself in a position where even if it's not right now, it's possible that you're going to manifest that dream home, family, or comfort zone. See what I'm saying?